Posted wait times at Walt Disney World Resort often are not entirely accurate. Yet it's why many people are buying services like Genie Plus or now whatever new lightning lane system they call it. These are very expensive, but we're here to tell you today, folks, that apparently there's legal language that says Disney's not even selling you what you think you're buying when you buy these products. Now we're calling for Florida to step in with an investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the place that is making sense, and Hollywood can't stand it. Neither can Disney, but we wish that they loved it because we love seeing them succeed. They just don't know it. Folks, if you'd like to help us succeed with this video, consider clicking the like button. Folks, if you're new to the channel, I'd like to introduce you to the one and only Vash Sky. He is the head of That Pod Place, better known as T3PO. He's also the co-host of That Park Place, our partner YouTube channel. And Vash, it's an honor to have you back, sir. How are you?
Well, it's an honor to be back, sir. You know what, Pro? I remember when you were just a little itty-bitty pro, when you were just breaking out of the scene there. And I think I was, well, one of your first videos on that inaugural day of your YouTube channel. And now, over 100,000. Congratulations, good sir.
Vash, that's a great memory because on day one of this channel, folks, if you want to know why we've grown, I'm not here to be braggadocious, but the reason that we have done what we've done, over 100,000, over 101,000 now subscribers in just 21 months, the reason we did it, Vash, is because you and I, on day one of the first 5 videos that came out, we did this big blast of 5 videos all on day one. You and I were uncovering that Disneyland in Hong Kong, the parking lot was connected to a medical camp that no one wants to go to, and you don't get to go out of it of your own voluntary volition. And that's not the sort of thing that people get to see. We brought it up. We showed the diagrams. We covered it greatly. So it's been a ride, Vash. But I want to get to the domestic parks because this is not nearly as bad, but it's still something. And I want to show this to you real quick, Vash. Folks, if you want to join in, though, in that celebration, 100,000 subscriber celebration, Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, we'd love to have you there. All right, Vash, this is the tweet we have from Marcus LeShock. And yes, that is the coolest last name in the history of last names. We hope it's real.
True.
The last few times I have been to Disney World, I have noticed the wait times and the standby lines take far less time than the posted times. That's a lot of times. For example, dot to the dot. Yesterday, Frozen had a posted 55-minute wait, only took 24 minutes. Today, Haunted Mansion had a posted 30-minute wait, only took 9 minutes to get to the Doom Buggy. Something to think about. If that standby wait time looks intimidating, it might not take that long. All right, Vash, the reason we bring this up is because Disney is making an awful lot of money off of these wait times. Now, there have been articles covering it, but you are better than any article, Vash, because you are an expert in this field. Vash, how much is it costing people, typically, to be able to say that they're skipping some of these lines that might be exaggerated, whether purposefully or not?
The last time I checked, it was about $20 to $40 a day before the, what is it, it used to be Genie Plus. Now it's the multi-pass lightning lane system. Oh man, that's gotta go with the rebrand, I guess.
We only knew you for a year. Before that, it was Fast Pass Plus. Before that, it was Fast Pass. I can't keep up. But Vash, so you're telling me $25 to $40 per person. And if you don't buy this, Vash, then it feels like you're not getting to ride the rides the same as those who do.
Correct. Yes.
You are a lesser guest.
Yes. And look, if you're going to Walt Disney World, you're probably going to ride on the rides. So if you're already paying for the flight, let's say, right? And this is, I believe, I think Disney internally says like the 5 things that people pay for. So it's like travel, lodging, it's merchandise, it's food, it's, all those things, right? If you're paying all that exorbitant expense to go down to Orlando and go to Walt Disney World at all, well then, if the idea is, okay, I can buy into a system and get more of my rides that I'm here for, then why would I not opt to do that? and so that's, by the way,
really... Vash, that's not the only cost. So I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's not the only cost, because there's also there are these premium attractions, so-called, that have these virtual queues. And you can either win the lottery on your phone to get to ride them, or you can pay more money. And that's how much, Vash, to ride those rides. How much?
Yeah, that I believe they top out at what, $30 maybe, bro? I believe per person. And those are part of the virtual queue system. And I think they call that single pass lightning lane, if I'm not mistaken. Here.
So this is really complicated, confusing. Vash, the reason I ask all this,
yes,
when you are charging people an arm and a leg, seriously, I mean, they've already paid $180 to get into Magic Kingdom, let's say.
Oh, yes.
Now you're charging them, if I understand you correctly, let's say on average $30 per person for these, for just to get what used to be free, which was called Fast Pass. Plus you're charging them $15 or $25 for each of these premium rides, or else it's difficult to ride them. You're talking about a very expensive day at Disney, and people are making the decision to buy these additions based on the idea that the wait times are accurate, and thus they are getting a very serious return on their investment. Vash, if the wait times are not correct, then I think that might be, well, I don't want to say exploitative, but perhaps. What say you?
Oh, I would use the language, yes, because and Disney knows this too. If you look at the legal language, there's a EULA or terms of service that you have to engage in, and if you are opting into these systems, it actually says right in there that times should not be used as a reference to judge the value of your purchase. Essentially,
well, what are you paying for then, Vash? If that's not what it, you're paying to skip the line to get time.
Yeah, there is legal language to protect them, but they understand that. Yeah, it's all time.
Okay, let me get this straight, Vash. You told me something at least I didn't recall this. You're telling me, Vash, that the legal language says that the reason for which almost everyone would certainly be buying the product, that reason is not the reason you should buy the product. It's some other nebulous thing. Yeah,
that was the legal language that they used in October of 2021 when the system was launched. It could have changed now, but my understanding, that is still in there.
Okay, well that's a good grief. Okay, all right, Vash. Here's what I'm wanting, and you tell me what you think of this.
Please.
I am not a heavy regulation advocate. I do not typically want governments to get involved beyond the necessity, right? I don't think that you should use government in a punitive way towards any corporation. That said, it seems to me that there is the opportunity for customers of theme parks in Florida, at least, maybe California as well, but at least in Florida, to get hosed, where they are purchasing something based on what is sometimes bad information.
Yes.
So, Vash, what I would like to see, I think at this point, given the number of experts, and we're talking to those people, we hope to have them on soon, given the number of experts who claim that the wait times just aren't accurate, to at least to their wanting, I think that the state of Florida should pass some sort of regulatory action where these wait times have to be within some sort of threshold, or else I think it's misleading marketing at the least. What do you think?
I don't necessarily disagree with that, because you are creating a mousetrap in which even the company itself is enraptured in. Because look at the perverse incentive structure that you get with this, Pro. What's the incentive to run things at maximum capacity? I mean, even if those wait times are accurate, well, why run an attraction with the amount of cast that it requires to actually run that attraction to as close to its theoretical hourly capacity as possible, if in fact it will hurt your Genie Plus sales? So you have a multi-pass lightning sales. So you have a perverse incentive structure. This is also why DAS was recently changed in order to elicit more of these
You're going to have to tell the audience what DAS means.
Oh, I do apologize. DAS refers to the Disability Access Service that Disney has maintained for going on 15, 20 years-ish. And it was recently reimagined once again, but this time under much more scrutiny. And it is far more difficult for, let's say, a disabled person in order to enroll into the system because it's basically been gridlocked by Disney themselves. And so the reasons that they cited was that they were seeing basically Lightning Lane sales go down, but Lightning Lane usage go up. And they were citing that they had estimated that there was like a 300% increase in the use of Genie Plus in the use of DAS since the debut of Genie Plus back in October of 2021. And we also know too, Pro, that the Wall Street Journal had access to a recent data leak within the company, and assuming those numbers are correct, again, a lot of that's
assuming the leak is correct, and folks were not in favor of leaks. We're simply using what is now publicly disseminated amongst the legacy media. I mean, they're out there sharing it. So what do you want us to do? We're going to have to talk about it. Go ahead, Vash.
Correct. Oh, yes, I think that's noteworthy here. The Wall Street Journal detailed that between October 2021, when the system that is Genie Plus debuted, and to now, the company has made over, I think, $724 million in revenue. That's before taxes. And so that's, well, 724 million reasons as to why this system does not change. And 724 million reasons, by the way, why they could necessarily adjust these times in order to elicit more of these sales. And that's really where the exploitation idea comes from. And I think there should be a check of some kind. I think there should be, maybe a mandate, because previously it was efficiency. That was one of the 4 keys that were part of the cast member idea of running these parks. But now that's changed if you can sell on inefficiency. And so maybe there might have to be some regulation in order to save Disney or any of these other theme park proprietors from themselves. Because it's just the what do you want to say? It's too tempting for a lot of these corporations and a lot of these people to not actually, adjust some of these.
Well, it's selling out the long term. It's selling out the long term for tremendous short term gain, but it also decimates the entire brand, and that's why I think the attendance is crashing. So you might ask yourself, okay, well, why is Disney not actively attempting to create far more attractions? I mean, at Hollywood Studios, it's like you've got 8 to 10 attractions open at a time.
Sure.
Look at okay, Dollywood is currently the recipient of the Golden Ticket Award, best theme park in the world, year after year. Mm-hmm. Dollywood has something like 50 attractions. Hollywood Studios, which is this huge theme park, well, it's not huge, but it's huge in terms of its brand and its financial backing by the Disney Corporation. Mm-hmm. It has 8 to 10. There's nothing to do. And you might say, well, why would Disney not give everything they have to build attraction after attraction and increase the footprint? And then you go, oh, wait a minute. If they don't build new stuff, then they can artificially inflate the amount of time you wait in line. And then if that's the case, then you will be more incentivized, is this exploitative, folks, to pay to skip these very long lines. It is, in other words, it incentivizes Disney to not do the things that would make guests happier. But that, by the way, that's fine. It's not fine for the consumer, but it doesn't call for government interference, right? It doesn't call for a referee, for an official referee. Where I think the call for legislation and for regulation, I think where this comes into is, and let me give you an example on this, Vash.
Please.
At the end of the day, I have been around attractions that have no lines, but they have stopped updating the posted wait times. And so they just sit there on 15 for the last hour that the park is open, showing 15 minutes. There's nobody there. Now, what that does, Vash, is if you had Genie Plus or Fast Pass, whatever you want to call this thing, right? If you've got the line skip and you show up, then you look and you go, oh, look, honey, it's not the best, but it's a 15-minute wait. Look how the value we got. It's late at night. We're tired. We don't have to wait 15 minutes. I don't want to say that Disney is tricking people, and I don't want to say that they're intentionally trying to mislead people, but I think that inherent in the way the system works is there's a proposed value and there's a perceived value, and they're not in line with the reality value.
Right.
What do you think, Vash?
I don't necessarily disagree with you. There are many tactics in place in order to elicit more sales. And we've heard from earnings calls and so forth where the company says, oh, we got 50% of people at Walt Disney World opting into the system. It's like 50%. 50%
okay,
on the line.
Hold on just, Vash. You made a great point.
Yes.
Sales of what? Okay. So if I buy a milkshake or blue milk, God forbid, but if I buy a milkshake at Disney, then I get a milkshake. And we can argue about the quality of the milkshake, but I get a milkshake. It's tangible. It's real, right? If I buy Genie Plus, then they say I'm not buying, better use of my time, but that's what I think I'm buying. And the reality is that I may not be buying a product of any value whatsoever, especially if the park isn't crowded. And that's when I think you actually need some sort of regulation, because now you're selling an empty cup of air and telling me that it's good for my lungs, but the legal paperwork says, oh, it's not for that at all. And it's like, what is it that's in the cup? I don't know what's in the cup. What are you selling, Disney? What is this?
They are attempting to sell you the idea that you'll be getting on more attractions than before.
Yes, the idea.
Because of the time. Because of the time. Yeah, yes. But they they even say like, oh, you're only going to get an average of 3 attractions or so forth. And like I was saying before, there are tactics that they use in order to elicit more sales. For example, the move from Genie Plus to Multi-Pass Lightning Lane was an attempt to evoke more sales out of people buying it early and opting into the system early. That way they have a set number of sales per day, instead of people judging based on wait times day of whether or not they'll actually enroll into the system. So there's so many things that they are actually doing. And I at this point, it's that the temptation is just too strong. I mean, I remember speaking about systems like this when MaxPass was first introduced at Disneyland Resort. I want to say 2017, 2018. I could be wrong though on the year, but I knew at that time I was like, oh, this changes the game. And if Disney doesn't hold themselves to a standard, and if you have executives that are looking to pad out their portfolios, if they're only there for like 6 months, let's say, before moving on through corporate America, then you could see where they're making the quarters look good. You can see that they're driving more revenue, or increasing the per caps for guests within the park, but at the expense of goodwill, at the goodwill for the brand, and doing it in a way that is exploitative. That's why I use the language, because that's kind of what it is. I think we have a video on 2-3PO, one of the highest viewed actually, where I think the thumbnail is like Genie Plus is a scam, because that was a quote from the article that was referenced in that video. And I mean, one could look at it and go, yeah, it kind of is.
Well, it's a $700 million scam if it is a scam. And I'm not asserting that, folks, but I am telling you that I think there's government regulation that needs to happen. And I never call for government regulation unless it is really, really important. And I'm telling you right now, do it for Universal, do it for SeaWorld, do it for Busch Gardens. You can do it for Gatorland. I don't care, but do it for all of them. Do it fairly. But this idea that you're buying something based on projected wait times that might be inclined and in such a way that you are, I don't want to say misled, but that you might not have the full picture in the best way possible. I think it calls for somebody to step in and say, really? Really? It's kind of like the mystery box thing, the loot boxes from gaming, right? You never know what's in the box. With this idea, you never know what you're going to get, but I can guarantee you, if it's a less crowded day, you got rooked. That's what you got.
and 2 more things real quickly, Pro, for your audience here.
Please.
One, why expand? Like you said before, why expand if you can keep the capacity the same and well, charge for the solution, which is these skip the line services. And then 2, the company even internally is kind of mixed on this. I know people from food and beverage and retail, they really don't like Genie Plus or these skip the line services because, in their opinion, it causes phone fatigue, in which they can't, consumer or the guest can't actually engage with their services that they want for their various departments.
And you and I know that Disney knows there's a serious problem with phone fatigue, and they need to stop it. They know that.
Yeah, and they are noting, hey, look, listen, we're getting less revenue or less people buying into like dinner packages or even opting to dine in, buying less merch, buying less stuff that we're selling in our various departments because they're already opting in to this extra option feature on their trip per person, being the skip the line services. So like this has way further reaching applications than just guest exploitation. It's hurting the company internally.
And I'm here to tell you, folks, if you're running a business, it doesn't matter if it's a small business, big business, corporation, LLC, whatever it is, you can be selling lemonade. If your money-making scheme is to make your customers uncomfortable and then they can pay something to alleviate their discomfort, that is a really, really bad economic mechanism. That is the system that Genie Plus is. Make your guests uncomfortable and then offer them the medicine that will fix it. That's what it is. That's why we don't like it. That's why it sold out the long-term health of these parks and continues to do so in our estimation. And given our track record and given Disney's stock value dropping 60% in 3 years, well, you be the judge who's got that one right. Folks, I'll tell you one thing. You can be the judge of great content by going over to T3PO at that pod place, P-O-D place, and check out Vash Sky and all his content, as well as the wonderful stuff he does over on That Park Place, our partner YouTube channel. Folks, on your way out the door, we ask this of you, and there is no charge, unlike Genie Plus. We're not going to do that to you. We just simply ask, could you click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and tell us, how much have you paid and was it worth it for Genie Plus? Perhaps we're completely wrong. We'd love to hear from you. Until the next time we have the honor of sharing time with you and getting the chance to be invited into your day, we ask that on your way, you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh, I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed, so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.